Thank you for joining us today. Well, this is James Pelton, and I am here with Fabiana. I'm just going to use your real name, Fabi Lara from the NostraCity team. Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you doing today?
It's my pleasure. I'm doing really well. Hopefully, I'll get some sleep tonight because we're launching tomorrow. So maybe that'll be a luxury.
Yes, yeah. No, I was talking with Fabi about how I never envy teams on launch day because I don't handle stress well, and it just sounds very stressful for me. But I'm excited to watch how it goes and help however I can. And thank you everybody who's joining us. So this is actually my first YouTube live. So I've done a lot of Twitter Spaces, but it's my first YouTube live. So thank you guys for joining me. Usually I can edit out all the mistakes and everything, so you don't know how bad I actually am at my job. So
It's okay. I'll make as many mistakes as you make so that you don't feel so bad. I gotcha.
perfect. And if you're watching, please do. If you have questions, ask them in the comments. I may or may not ask them. We'll see. But if it's a good one, then and I see it, then I will ask it. So, Fabi, let's go ahead and start off. Would you mind just kind of introducing yourself and explain how you found your way to Nostra City?
No problem. So, my name is Fabi, and my background is in investing and being an entrepreneur in the education space. So, basically, way back in the day, I decided that one day I could do a better job at teaching than some other teachers. And I decided that I would start an online school. And I did that for many years successfully, thankfully. And after a while, it got to the point where I had created my own course. Basically, I taught English to people back home. I'm originally from Brazil, but lived outside of Brazil for most of my life now. And I basically got to a point where I lived off the royalties of the intellectual property that I had created from these courses. And so I kind of got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm semi retired. I have nothing to do. I get paid every month, these nice little checks. What do I do now? And then because I always keep my lifestyle super simple, I decided to start to invest a little bit here and there. And so I've invested in the weirdest things that you've ever heard of, stuff from like uranium mines to IoT SaaS companies dealing with steel manufacturers in Brazil and everything in between. So anything that's interesting, I look at if I think it's going to make me money and I can add something to the project and I think that it does good in the world, then I might, put a few cents towards that. And how I got to get involved in NostraCity was basically I have a really nasty story with crypto. I invested in Bitcoin in 2011, bought Bitcoin at like $4 and made no money from it. And how I managed that is there was only Mt. Gox and everybody got rugged. But before everybody got rugged, I got really spooked by the whole process. They lost my money for a little while and then found it like a month later. And I was like, nah, this thing is not for me. This Bitcoin thing is just geek money. I don't get it. Let's just get out of it. So I was like really salty for several years because I lost out on like maybe making 5 million bucks or something like that. And then 2018 rolled along, and then I heard about Hedera Hashgraph, and I thought these guys are really onto something. And then got into their SAFT raise, but that's all I did. Then forgot about crypto altogether. Then I met somebody through my crazy mining investments that said, "Look, you've helped me so far with a few things here and there. I'm just going to gift you these tokens, right?" And they gifted me these tokens, and I started to look into DeFi. Like, what the heck is DeFi? And so this is back in the fall of last year, and I'm like, okay, there's something here. This is either really, really degenerate and stupid, or it's absolutely genius. Nothing in between. And so I looked at Ohm, all the forks and everything, and got right into it. And I decided to start ohmforks.com, which was a way to just bring all these projects together with a simple list and have, the craziest projects up on top, got advertisers to come along. And I find that DeFi is like a really crazy space where there's a lot of opportunity and a lot of really good things that we can take from the traditional concept of investing and meddling with the new concepts of DeFi. And I think there are a lot of opportunities to make something that's really cool, that's really fun as well. This is the first time that I start a project that is fun, right? I'm in education, so it's like kind of boring. It's useful, but it's kind of boring. And so I'm finally doing something that is mafia themed, because why the hell not? And yeah, so NostraCity is all about getting together, building up a really cool treasury, and investing in some really wild stuff.
That is awesome. No, I love that. And actually, the more I talk with you, the more I like it. I think we have like a similar story where we were kind of retired, but it's like you can't stay retired very long before you gotta, like,
No,
we're built to
it's
go find
boring.
something to do. It is, it's very boring. And you think like it's kind of the American dream, retire early, but then like you
That's
spend,
a trap.
yeah, you spend 2 days watching Netflix, and then it's like, man, I gotta go build something. That's my story
Or
too.
break something. Like you got to do
Yeah.
something,
Yeah,
right?
that's awesome. Hey, for those of you who are watching, thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. Would you mind commenting? So I'm streaming this to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Can you go ahead and just comment where you're watching from, whether it be YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook? I just kind of want to see. This is a kind of experiment for me too, and I just kind of want to see where everybody is coming from. So yeah, thanks for explaining that. Next question I want to ask is the most common question that I get from a new project is about doxing and KYC and audit, and things like that. And you've been so transparent compared to most projects in the space. So I kind of want to just hear your philosophy on doxing and why you fully dox like this,
Mhm.
and kind of just your thoughts behind that.
Sure. So when I got involved with homeforks.com, I realized that some of the nicest people were the worst ruggers because I dealt with them. They were my advertisers. And there was a disconnect between how they treated the community, how they tried to get users and marketing going versus what they were actually doing with your money. And I thought, you know what? The problem with this whole thing is that it's great to be anonymous because you can test a lot of things, and if things work great, if things don't go well, then your family is not at risk or anything like that, right? You can maintain the sort of protection level, but at the same time, it really bummed me out because I was like, okay, so I know who rugged out of the Ohm forks. How do I know that they're not rugging me again with nose? And how do I know they're not going to rug me again with the next thing? And so I thought, you know what? I have absolutely nothing to hide. In my previous career, I was actually very public. Up to 2 million people actually got exposed to my content previously. And so, like, my name is already out there, my life is already out there. And since I had nothing to hide and we're doing things by the book and we have proper lawyers and everything, we're incorporating. I said, you know what? This is going to be my thing. I'm just going to be me, and it's going to be my face, and my team is all going to be doxxed. Because you know what? If we do something wrong, then you should know that we did something wrong and that we should be held responsible for it. Because I take things very seriously when it comes to money. And so, yeah, that's why I have no fear, because I am going to do my best, going to really work hard towards this project. If it doesn't work, it's because it didn't work, not because we rugged somebody.
That's awesome. No, I love that. We need a level of that transparency in this space right now, just with how crazy things have been.
Absolutely.
So can you talk us through a little bit, and just assume that viewers have never heard of Nostra City before. So if you were going to kind of explain it in a nutshell, is it a game? Is it a passive income creator? Is it both? Would you just want to kind of, in a
Well,
nutshell, explain?
it depends if you're the SEC asking, right? It's a
Very good.
game. It's a game. As I've been told by my lawyers, it's definitely a game, and you should not expect a profit from the efforts of others. I learned that from Richard Hart.
There you go.
So basically, Nostra City is us taking the stuff that worked the best from Ohm and the stuff that worked the best with nodes and kind of putting them together. So the thing that worked really well with Ohm and all of the forks was that they were able to raise a massive treasury in a really short amount of time. And that was really surprising because they had a really cool bonding mechanism, and you could buy the tokens from the protocol instead of just from the market. Obviously, there needs to be a balance between how much should be bought from the protocol versus the market, because you can there's a direct effect on price and raising of the treasury. But it worked really well. So that worked really well. The part where it didn't work so well is, well, part of it has to do with the staking and the unstaking, and the price is really sensitive to the structure of automated market makers, which is something that's kind of beyond our control. But that's another conversation for another day. The stuff that works with nodes is that you're basically you're giving up the right to sell your token straight away, which is really good for the protocol. So what Ohm wanted to do with people staking and 3-3ing, remember that meme?
Oh yes.
I think it suits the nodes better, because with the nodes, you exchange, say, your 10 tokens for the passive of getting the token stripped to you. And so you're buying yourself time. Now, the issue is that the Ohm forks didn't really have a purpose to the treasury until the price collapsed, and like, shoot, yeah, we're going to become, let's think of something now. Yeah, we're going to become this, that, and the other. So we're going to do something with the treasury, because they had the asset, sitting there, all the stable coins inside the treasury. But at the same time, with the node projects, what I find that is really missing is that the treasury is too small compared to the market cap or compared to the amount of tokens in circulation. And so we're like, okay, why don't we put those two together, right? You take the best of one protocol and you put it together with the best of the other. Let's experiment with that and allow the community to make the hard decision of choosing which protocol or project we're going to invest in, but we're going to filter it out. So we're forced to make the tough decisions that we know are going to be good for us long term. So I would consider myself to be a contrarian investor mostly. And the way that I look at things is that if I see something that is really, really cheap, that's starting to move up again, then I'm like, okay, I need to put some money towards this. But it's really easy for me to do it, and it's very difficult for most other human beings to do it. This is my only edge. This is like my one talent in life, is that I can pick the stuff that nobody else likes, and I can stick with it for a long time, right? So what we're trying to do is partly to say, hey, guys, like this is the stuff that's really valuable, not all the crazy poop coins, the crazy dog coins. It's this stuff here. So within this sort of realm, what do you guys want to invest in? Is it going to be this project, that project, or the other? You guys can choose, and you can gain something from it. So NostraCity is basically 3 different investment projects within our city, within one theme. And then people come and they can vote. And the way that you vote is that you buy up the NFTs. And that is your vote towards, hey, I want us as a group, as a DAO, to make this investment or that investment or the third investment. And so we're launching tomorrow. And what we're launching is the NFT sales. With the NFTs that you get, you're going to be able to get the same amount that you've put in tokens. If you actually bought your NFTs in the business that wins, meaning it sold the highest amount of NFTs, then not only do you get 100% of what you put in, you get an extra 20% boost in BOSS tokens. So that's season 1. It's really our pre-sale is the whole of season 1. And we're going to force ourselves to go for something that's really contrarian to begin with. So we're going for either Ohm or Hector Finance or Houses of Rome. Those are the 3 investment theses, or the 3 investment projects. And we're going to have different seasons. So every 3 weeks, we have a different season. we're likely going to have an L1 solution for next season, and we're going to make it so that we invest in contrarian projects. We're going to make it so that we invest in projects that are a little bit more popular and hot, but we're going to hold them for, less time. And then there's a third item, which I haven't actually shared with anybody. So I'm going to drop
Yeah.
this bit of alpha here
Yeah.
is
Alpha.
we're looking at projects that nobody has ever heard of because we're going out into the crypto communities. I live in Portugal, so I am a drive away from some of the most craziest, bustling crypto communities of people building real things. And you can actually meet them and look at their, slide decks and see what they're trying to accomplish. So some of the projects that we're going to bring in maybe third season onwards is stuff that you've never heard of. And it's going to be like super fresh and super tiny. So we're going to get in really at ground level stuff. But yeah, that's stuff that we haven't talked about yet, but it's a real thing that's going to happen because we're involved in the crypto community here in Portugal. And it's likely that we're going to get an advisor that is not in Portugal, but is even more, I guess, involved in the crypto community in an undisclosed location in Europe that will also bring really, really cool new projects that have real utility.
That's awesome. No, I like that a lot. There's a lot about that I like. First off, I like your investment choices because that is contrarian. Like nobody's talking about Olympus has like one of the best white papers and like mission that I've seen of any
Absolutely.
project that I've looked through. And they're at like very all-time low prices right now. So you
Bottom
combine those two
prices, yeah.
things, it might be a good time to invest. So I
And
like that a
I
lot.
like cheap stuff. I mean, I'm a woman. What kind of woman doesn't like sales,
Yeah,
right?
that's right. Actually, I want to ask you about that since you brought it up. I think it's okay. But one of the reasons I was intrigued by your project in the first place was I don't see hardly any women in the crypto space at all. Like I've done AMAs with probably 100 different projects, and I've never had an AMA with a woman before. Do you want to just talk about that? Like why do you think that is, and what can we do to maybe help women get on board? And I'd rather you talk to it than me because I feel like I might
Yeah.
get in trouble.
No, don't worry about it. First of all, I am not offended by anything anybody ever says unless they're trying to hurt me. And so don't worry about it. Um, that's a difficult question to answer because throughout my whole life, I've always taken the view of I want to do something and my gender has nothing to do with it. So I always look at the goal, what I want to accomplish. And I don't think that, hey, but I'm a woman, I'm not supposed to do that. And so, in a way, when I see something cool that I think I could build or that I could explore, then I just go out there and do it. However, I have to say that the crypto community in particular, because it's so many young men, everybody just assumes that everybody's a young man. And because everything is anonymous, then everybody, I guess, just always assumes that everybody is a young man. And because of that, I think it's the anonymity that makes things more and more male oriented and, just, I guess, too tied up to the whole identity and culture of what like young males act like. And I don't know if it's fixable. I don't know if there's anything that can be done to attract women in general, but I think more transparency would be good because there are women amongst us. We just don't know it because it's all
Mm,
us, right? So
yeah.
I'm sure there are women out there who are trying to build something, and I think women would be more likely to dox because, well, I don't know why, but I've never met women who wanted to, sit behind a screen and then be anonymous. On top of that,
Yeah.
it's yeah, I mean, it's a tough one. I don't really know, and I'm not sure that this is something that. Here's the thing. I'm actually going to tell you. So instead of trying to make crypto more women friendly, I think we should just try to make DeFi specifically just more human friendly, right? Let's make the space safer. Let's bring about more transparency. Let's just make projects better. Let's educate people better on what they're getting into and the risks and everything. And if you do that, I think that will attract women, because a lot of the anonymity and lack of security and stuff like that, that puts women off a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, and I could do a better job. I think even the first time I emailed you, I said, "Hey, brother," or something like that.
I get that all the time. And people
Yeah.
are looking at they're looking at my picture. They're calling me mate, dude, brother.
Yeah.
I'm like, sure.
Yep. Well, it is what it is. So that's awesome. Well, I appreciate that you're doing this, and yeah, there's like, again, there's women who have such a skill set that DeFi could use, and like I feel like they could be such a benefit. But even like my YouTube channel, I think is like 98% men that watch and 2% women, and so yeah, I would love to help fix that and work on that. So yeah, thanks for your insight into that. So we kind of talked about it a little bit, but could you maybe talk a little bit about what's on the roadmap? So I think people have a pretty good
Sure.
feel for like, so you're buying NFTs as kind of an investment. Could you maybe talk about what's on the roadmap? You talked about more seasons of that. What else do you have kind of coming down the line?
Sure thing. Can we fire up the screen here? There we go. Awesome. So we actually posted this on here, and you can see our roadmap on NostraCity.com. Anybody can go there and actually check out what we're planning. So this is about our launch here, right? So we have yet to dox one final member of the team, and he's this smart contract developer. So they're kind of like prima donnas sorts.
Yeah, I do.
He's gonna love me saying that. And so he's gonna be doxed tomorrow, right? Right before launch. We are doing a code review by a third party that's finished already. We're going to publish that tomorrow as well, gearing up for the launch. And then we start with season one. And then season one being our liquidity bootstrapping event. That's going to raise the funds for not just the first investment, but that's going to be the launch for the next few seasons. So some of the really cool things that are coming up with the next few seasons is that the NFTs that people are going to buy from tomorrow onwards are not really going to have any artistic value. So you're going to be able to buy coffees from Olympus Diner. You're going to be able to buy tomatoes from Rome Grocery, and you're going to be able to buy scissors from Hector Barbershop. But once you do that, they just pretty much look like, a tomato, scissors, pair of scissors, and a cup of coffee. So it's not like the usual NFTs that have artistic value behind them. However, when you keep them and you're going to get tokens, for the value that you put in at the very least after season one finishes, what's going to happen is those NFTs are going to be able to be combined and burnt, and then you're going to get PFPs for those tokens. So you're going to exchange them for PFPs. And with the PFPs, you're going to have utility as well. We're not really talking about that too much because we don't want people to get confused first season, second season. So it's really important to remember, hey, keep the tokens, first of all, because you need them. Oh, sorry, the NFTs because you need them for the tokens, but also you're going to be able to exchange them for a PFP that you basically got for nothing because you're already getting 100% of your tokens back. And we're going to have nodes, like I said, the best of nodes with the best of Ohm. But the way that we're going to do it is going to be really unusual. So we are trying to take an approach of like evidence-based decisions within, the company. And one thing that we've decided to do is instead of just setting the price for the token and also setting the price for the nodes, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at our data and we're going to say, okay, so most people have spent $600 with us. Okay, cool. How much are we going to make the nodes cost and how much is the token going to cost? So we're going to try to make it so that we're always looking at how are people going to be incentivized to buy more of this token instead of selling it. So one thing that we really have to be careful with when we distribute all these tokens, how can we make it so that when season 2 starts and you can start trading the token, that there's not a massive amount of selling pressure. And you can never guarantee this, but one way that we found is once we've decided that, let's say people have spent on average $600, that we're going to make sure that the nodes cost maybe $600 or $650, so that there's more buying pressure when there's a launch and less selling pressure, because you know what, you have $600 already, the node only costs 650, you can go out and buy an extra 50 instead of just dumping the 600 that you've received from your tokens. So we're always going to take a look at what is the market doing right now, and let's act accordingly so that we can add cool stuff into. This is why we tried to make it a city. We want to add whatever is working right now in sort of DeFi to make it so that we attract people, we give the token more utility, and we grow the treasury by making all these investments. So that's when you're going to see the bonding launch. Bonding, like it's done with Ohm, is going to happen from season two onwards. That's when we're going to have the token launch as well. And then we're going to start distributing the prizes for the family, which is you join a family every time that you buy a token from a business. So you're going to get your prize, and then the investment is going to be made. I mentioned that we're doing a code review here and publishing it tomorrow, but we're going to have a full audit after launch, because it doesn't make sense to wait months and months and months and spend that much money before we launch. It means that we wouldn't launch until like summer. So we're going to do that and make initial investments and probably be listed and have the nodes. The idea is that with each passing season, we give more control of the decisions to the community. So we want to be a full DAO, and we want to make it so that the community can choose, hey, how about we have a different investment theme, and how about within that investment theme we bring our own ideas and we vote for them, right? So we want to make sure that token utility, token price is an obsession, but that the community can really decide where to take this thing next. This is why you won't see very much on the roadmap after this, because it's like, okay, have we made really successful investments, and do we have a massive treasury? Do we want to cash out? Do we want to distribute as, similar to dividends? Do we want to do something completely different? This will be up to the community to decide. So I'm really, really looking forward to what the community is going to come up with. And by the way, speaking of community, we have a really cool feature, which is going to be, how do you become a boss, right? Everybody wants to become a boss, because this is like a mafia family. The only way you can become a boss is, like, you can't buy it. It's an honor position. The way you're going to do it is you're going to have to basically go into the Discord and strategize with your family on how your family can win. And the most helpful person, the most friendly person, the person that brings the most to the table is going to be actually nominated the boss. And with the boss, you're going to get free notes. So it's something that money cannot buy, and there's only going to be one boss per family. So the people who are, who get their hands dirty in the best sense of the word are going to get the ultimate status of boss.
That's awesome. I love the theming. Sometimes people tell me that theming doesn't matter, but it's like,
I think it does.
It does, because I have more fun if I go in and claim rewards from a project, and like buying tomatoes from a market is just, I don't know, it's more fun to me than just going in and clicking a claim reward from a node. So I don't know. I am a sucker for like good theming. It definitely, it's more fun for me. That's awesome.
For sure. And hey, let me see if I can show you something else here. I didn't want to show too much, but I wanted to show a little bit of inside the app. Let me just see.
Is this alpha also then?
Oh man, I don't know. It's just that the way that we want to the way that I particularly wanted to do this was that, yeah, do you know what? You can't see. Okay. I'm just gonna try to do this. You can't, can you see my search bar up on top? Okay, cool. That's good. That means that you can't see the address. All right, so this is what our city is gonna look like roughly. Yeah, and I just wanted to show this right here. So when you go in here, you see the Gambino family and you're at the grocery store. So at the grocery store, you're going to be able to buy tomatoes, right? And then you're going to be able to mint your NFTs here. And then you go through the whole approve and mint that you usually do anyway. But if you realize that Gambino family is actually running the Rome grocery store, and then you start to look at the picture that's here, there's something weird about this grocery store, right? There are a lot of symbols and words and things that if you've ever participated in Houses of Rome, you're going to recognize, right? And these are images that were hand drawn. And what I would love to do, if the community agrees with, is to actually get these NFTs minted as unique images from season one and then put them up in our future art gallery inside our city and just put them up for auction. And I would love to give the proceeds to charity for these NFTs as being, OG NFTs for each of those families. So that's something that I think we're really proud of.
That's very cool. Yeah, thanks for showing us. This is helpful to kind of see.
Yeah, I haven't really shown my people this, so this is like way beyond what I should be doing right now.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's what I'm here for, is to show things that aren't supposed to be shown.
I know.
That's what I'm here for. That's awesome. Okay, well, so if people are watching this, we got some people in the audience and some people I'm sure will watch the recording, and they want to get involved. So you're launching tomorrow. What's the best way for people to get involved? People who don't have a whitelist, people who do have a whitelist, what can they do to jump in?
Okay, so you must go to our Twitter, Nostra_City, and turn on the bell. Okay, because tomorrow is launch, and anything and everything that happens or doesn't happen will be notified on Twitter. But most importantly, go and join our Discord as well. So if you go to our website, NostraCity.com, you'll see both links are up there. And when you join the Discord, you're going to get the link for the launch there at 8 p.m. UTC. So make sure that you come, you say hi, and you start to maybe exchange a few words inside the family channels in case you want to become a boss, because we're watching the activity of the people there and the content that's going to be posted there. So if you want to know more, then definitely run into the Discord and start adding your value, adding your opinion. What do you think of Ohm as an investment? What do you think of Hector as an investment? And let's try to get something going there in the conversation, because that's going to be, I think, time worth spent.
Okay. Sure. Is tomorrow just for whitelists?
No. So this is very important. Thank you for reminding me of that. Tomorrow is going to be a launch for everybody. So whitelist, non-whitelist, tier 1 whitelist, and tier 2 whitelist. Everybody's going to be able to buy the NFTs from 8 p.m. UTC. However, there are 1,500 NFTs costing $200 or 200 DAI each in each business. So there's 4,500 NFTs in all, and once they're gone, they're gone. So everybody is free to come and mint whenever they want to from 8 p.m. UTC. However, if we run out, then there is nothing we can do. Even myself, like, we're going to have a live stream 15 minutes before launch, so 7:45 p.m. UTC. And I might actually have to like leave early because I need to buy my own
Yeah, makes
my own NFTs. I have to go and mint my own NFTs. So like once they're gone, they're gone. That's it.
Okay, gotcha. And so DAI, so is it on Polygon?
It's on Avalanche.
Okay, on AVAX. So you're gonna need some DAI. And I'm sorry, how much DAI did you say per NFT?
200.
200. Okay, and then how many can you mint at a time?
You can mint as many as Avalanche will allow you. If
Okay.
you try too many, the network might get clogged and you won't go anywhere. But we're not limiting that.
Okay. All right. Very cool. And I have a giveaway going for 2 whitelist spots, and so I'll include that as part of this video. So I'll put the links once we finish up here to get that. It's over on my Twitter. So yeah, thank you for doing that. I always get more excited about projects when I talk to the founder, and in seeing kind of some of the alpha, it makes me excited. So I'm excited for this one. So thanks for talking through it. Is there anything else that you'd like to share? Does anybody have any questions?
I see a question here, I think by Neil DeFlora. That's a really cool name. Yeah, they're saying, so Fabi, for season 3, you're looking to set up a launch pad that will get NFT holders access to IDOs. Basically, yes, but we're not gonna make it black and white so that it's only IDOs, because there may be projects that have gone through a smaller IDO or something similar to it, but they're still really small and nobody knows about them. So we're not going to say, hey, we only do IDOs. We're just going to look at projects, and anything that looks really promising, really sustainable, then we're going to bring it to you guys, and you are going to decide whether they're worthy of our precious stable coins or not.
That's a really cool way to frame it, though, because that is really what it could become, is early access. I know Portugal is becoming the go-to place because of the tax laws and all that.
That's kind of why I moved to Portugal.
Yep. Well, I mean, it makes perfect sense. I'm in the U.S. I'm in the middle of the U.S. and I've thought about, hey, maybe I should go over to Portugal.
I lived in North America. I lived in Canada for a while, and yeah, after a few years of paying really high taxes and being snowed in for many months, I decided that Portugal was the answer to many of my issues.
Yeah,
Never look back.
that's awesome. We have another question here if you want to touch on it. SK asks, can you give some more details about the ROI? So I have a lot of like just passive income listeners wanting about the investment side of it.
Yeah, sure. So here's our thinking about the ROI and why we decided to get the best of Ohm through the bonding mechanism and growing the treasury, investing in it, and the nodes. The nodes are great for the passive income side of it. But the problem with the passive income side of it is that it's very difficult to create value by grabbing your tokens and then trying to do something with it that doesn't crash the price, right? And so projects are usually stuck with, okay, how do we get these tokens into actual value that is going to be worth more and more with time? And one thing that we found is that they usually either use those tokens to sell and then invest in other stuff, which brings the price way down, or they're kind of stuck with it, right? And they just make a really closed system that kind of collapses. And so what we're trying to do is we're going to make it so that the treasury is the focus, and that because the treasury is hopefully growing more and more, that means that we're going to be able to pay out more. So our token emission is going to be somewhat linked to how much our treasury is growing. And we believe that, you know, if we make the right investments, then that means that we can be confident that, hey, we can print out these new tokens and we can pay out the passive income side of it because we have more money in the bank, quite literally. And we don't have a set number for it yet because we're trying to get to an algorithm that's going to do it for us. We have some advisors that are corporate finance PhDs and there's math behind it. But at the end of the day, nobody really knows how that's going to work unless we can make really good investments. So that's really the focus. I can tell you right now that it's very likely that's going to be a triple digit return. But my wish is that the triple digit return is part of the fact that the token can really appreciate with the value of the treasury.
Okay. Yeah, good answer. So would you say no one knows for sure what the return will be?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I have a lot of dad humor if you've ever watched my channel before.
I love it.
Another question here from Satoshi himself. The
Wow.
creator of Bitcoin has joined us here
Awesome.
today, but he's wondering about whales. If there's no limit on wallet minting, and let's say I just want all of the Olympus DAO NFTs, is there anything stopping me from going in with 10,000 DAI and just buying them all up?
No.
All right, that's fair.
No. Here's the reason why we're not really so concerned about this is that the problem with whales is that they wreck token launches. At least that's my personal opinion. I know it's not going to be shared by everybody, but whales really, really suck when you just launch the token. They buy up really cheaply, drive up the price like crazy, and then crash it, right? What we're trying to do here is more like an NFT launch. There won't be whales with discounts. That's very important. So everybody that has a whitelist has a maximum of $2,000 or 2,000 DAI that they can spend, right? So they can get at the very most, if they are tier one, which means they have an 80% discount, then they will spend 2,000 DAI and they're going to get 10,000 DAI worth of tokens. That's the most that they can do. So if a whale wants to come in and buy, they're going to be buying at full price versus the 80% versus the 60%, tier one and tier two people. So that's not really an issue. We don't believe that's really an issue because once we launch, guess what? There's going to be some buying pressure, some selling pressure, but the whales don't have the ability to buy at a low price because that's the only way that a whale can make money. They buy a lot, but they buy it at a low price. Then they drive up the price and crash. And that won't really be possible with what we're trying to achieve here,
Right.
I believe.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. And whales in general are not looking for holding. They're looking to buy and sell.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you're a whale and you're patient enough to wait at least 3 weeks, then maybe you're interested enough in the project that we want to have you around. You're the good whale.
Will these NFTs be available on any third-party marketplaces?
We're not going to block them from going to third-party marketplaces, but we're also at the moment not really encouraging it because I think some people who just buy without realizing what they're getting into are going to maybe want to sell them and not realize that, hey, you can get 100% of what you put in with tokens or 120%. And we didn't want people to forget about that or not realize that. So we're not going to make an effort at this moment, but when we do have PFPs, then those are going to be launched with the proper marketplace and everything.
Okay. All right. We got another question here. What makes a family win? Is it profit or NFTs minted?
It's not the amount of NFTs minted, it's the amount in DAI that was raised as a result of the NFTs minted. So let's say, and this is where the strategy comes in. Let's say that I like the Gambino family because I like Houses of Rome and I want Rome to win. Because I have a tier one position and I know all the other people who have tier one positions, if we get together and we all buy up the Gambino family business, we might actually sell out and not win because we all got in at 80% discount, which means the amount of DAI that we put in into this business is not the maximum that it can take. Now, all of you people who don't have a whitelist position can say, you know what, we're going to play against them. We're going to go to another business and buy up those tokens. And because you're buying it at the full 200 DAI, then you have a higher chance of winning by a lot because you're actually putting more DAI into that business.
Interesting. Another dynamic. Maybe you don't want a whitelist. That's interesting. We had another question. After buying an NFT, when will you get the nodes and how much will a node cost?
So you're going to get the nodes on season 2. So season 1 should take 3 weeks maximum. And then after that, there will need to be a gap of maybe 1 week. And then we're going to have season 2. And the node cost, we haven't decided yet because, as I mentioned previously, we're going to look at the average that was spent. And then we're going to try to make sure as much as possible that people are buying more when we launch the token for season 2 as well, instead of dumping it on the market.
All right. Okay, cool. Anybody else have any other questions? This is super helpful for me. Again, I've read the white paper and I've looked through the website, but just talking with you, it's just like, it makes so much more sense. I think I'm a visual learner because sometimes I read through white papers and I'm like, eh. And then when I talk with someone, I'm like, oh yeah, I see your vision for it. And I think it's pretty cool. So, well, if no one else has any questions, it's been a good 45 minutes. So I think this is great. Thank you so much for joining with me. And I'll say too, Fabi's been very patient with me. I've had a hard time working in a video because I wanted to get it before launch, but I've had so many other videos I've had to get out, and she was just very patient with me and my scheduling problems that I have.
You're just a very busy, very important man in DeFi.
Yeah, how did it come to this? How did it come to this? This is crazy. So, but I appreciate it, and I wish you best of luck on your launch, and I'll be tweeting out and doing what I can to help get eyes on your project. So good work so far.
Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. And yeah, I mean, let's go after this. The market's moving, so we gotta make this quick because before we know it, then all of these investments are gonna be, going up too quickly. So we want to make sure that
skin in while it's low. Yeah, and I'd love to have you back maybe in a few weeks as after launch and as things have kind of started to move. Maybe going into season 2, we can do another video and get some more eyes on it. So
let's do it. Thank you very much, James.
Thank you. You have a wonderful night. Well, I guess
see you tomorrow.
Hey, right? Well, what time is it in Portugal?
No, it's just past midnight.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, have a good night's sleep then.
All right. You too.
All right.
Take care.